Hi guys, Bomber here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna do a budget deck video. This time around will be a DARAMEK deck, which is called the DARAMEK Sacrifice. So, the name of the deck obviously comes from the main combo which is available to Ezra, and also we are doing a deck with Ezra, which is not the starting hero, which is Light. So, but Ezra is an uncommon hero, so you will probably get her pretty fast. And so there is no worries it is a new player deck, because Ezra is really easy to obtain in most of the case. And I did not went for a Liat deck, because Liat is somewhat not as competitive if you don't have the more rare cards with there. Instead, Ezra, it is a rarer hero by herself, but it can work with really only common and uncommon card and only just one hero card. Obviously, if you have better cards, this deck can be definitely better, but it is already as competitive as it can be with only commons and uncommons. And so for that reason, I went for Ezra instead of Liat, because I believe it's more competitive while also having the lesser rare card. So with that said, the main combo, which also gives the name to the deck, is the Erdol Boars, Riddles Loader, and Ezra Hero Power. And the way it works is, first of all, the Erdol Boars is a 4-cost minion when fully upgraded, adding 3 hits on turn, attack, and it has 3 health, so definitely a pretty good attacker, but this is not what is very good about this card. The best part is obviously that he has 3 health points, but also that it gets, when killed, +2 random resources. And in combo with Riddle's Loader, which reads, pick an ally to sacrifice, gain random resources equal to victim's life +1. So we are getting 3 resources because he has 3 health points, then +1 since it is written on the Riddle's Loader, so 4 resources, and also +2 since the Erdol Boars will get killed by the Riddle's Loader. So we are getting 6 resources. And then there is Ezra, which comes into play, because we will sacrifice the Erdol Boars, but when we pass we will redraw cards, and we are sure that one of those drawn cards will be an ally, thanks to Ezra, and if Erdol Boars is only our only ally card in our deck, then we are sure to redraw the Erdol Boars. And so we just need to redraw the Riddle's Loader as well, or also restock it another time. And we are pretty consistently gaining 6 resources per turn, starting from turn 1, which is definitely a lot. And if we just get the right resources for 3 turns in a row, actually 4, if we will gain for 4 turns 24 resources. And if at least 20 of them are attacking resources, we can already kill our opponent by turn 3. It is obviously a bit inconsistent, because we will not redraw all the times the Riddle's Loader, and also it's pretty rare that we will gain 20 attacking resources, so skulls and magic, but there is the possibility, and so this is to let you guys know how fast this deck can be. It's definitely a very nice combo, and even if we don't get the heal power, if for example we get gold, then that's definitely a very good move to increase our economy and build our deck even more. So obviously we run 2 copies of Erdol Boars and 2 copies of Riddle's Loader, because this is our main combo, and obviously we want to be a bit more consistent about it, and so for that reason we run more copies to get those cards more consistently. But other than that, we obviously will not always get the combo, and so we need to have a pretty consistent deck plan even if we don't get the combo. And the other deck plan is a slave type of deck, which is Orphan Gang, the first of all, which is a 2-cost ally, which reads on turn, feed play, attack weakest, and it has only 1 health. So definitely a pretty cheap ally to attack and kill threatening allies from our opponent's side. For example, some wealthy patrons or any glass cannon only. And so definitely a very good way to answer those threats. Then we have Gold Banners, which is the same, but it gains +1 gold instead of attacking, and also a very cheap way to to have a very consistent economy side, is obviously better than a coin, because it gives you the +1 gold like a coin would on play, but it also sticks on the board, and if not answered, you will gain 1 more coin per turn. You may think of it like this, and if you want it to be answered, then your opponent has to pay a resource. So it's actually a bit like a coin, which also make your opponent lose a resource. So definitely a better coin, and it pays for itself in only 2 turns, so definitely a very good card. Then we have Ratcatcher, which reads on turn play, draw an ally, except Ratcatchers. So definitely another good way to redraw our allies, and if not answered, you will redraw even more allies. So definitely for an ally-based deck is definitely pretty strong. Then we have the Scrivener, which is the same as the Ratcatcher but with rituals, and the only rituals that we run is the Rituals Loader, but we definitely want to redraw the Rituals Loader, and it's very good in combo with Herd of Boars, so it's like a third copy of Rituals Loader if we already have one in the deck. So definitely pretty strong, and also if not answered another time, you will redraw the Rituals Loader more consistently, so definitely a pretty good addition. Then there is the Scavenger, which reads on turn play +1 resource. When life reduces to 0, 50% chance to return to hand. So it's a bit like Gold Punners and an Orphan Gang in the same card, because it can give you the +1 gold like the Gold Punners, or it can produce the Skulls or the Magic to attack like the Orphan Gang. And it also has that bit additional power, which is to be redrawn to the hand, so you can gain even more value from it, and at the cost of your opponent losing a resource to kill it. So definitely also a pretty good card. And then we run the Stampede, which is probably the only rarer card that we have, but I do believe that Stampedes come from Ezra, I'm probably right, and so it's an uncommon hero power, hero card, and so not that rare, and also it's pretty easy to upgrade, at least until level the second upgrade. Then for the third you will have to grind a lot, but since the second upgrade it's fine. And in the second upgrade it will cost 4 gold, which is still fine, so you can run it. But if you don't want to run the Stampede, there are several other good options, like for example the Overseer. And those cards which I am mentioning right now can be also swapped for any cards that you want. It's your call. Overseer, which helps you trigger even more your allies, like for example it's very good with slaves in general, because they all activate on turn and play. With Overseer are much better. Then there is also the Lepers, which is a bit of a counter to attacking allies decks, so that's also a consideration. And also it will act like another Herd of Boars, since it also has 3 health, but it's a bit worse than the Herd of Boars, obviously, because you don't gain the +2 resources like the Herd of Boars, but it works a bit like Herd of Boars, and it's also much cheaper, so also a pretty good addition, or an alternative to other cards. And then really also the Starving Mob, maybe an addition to slow down your opponent a bit, and that's it. Then when you will gain rarer cards, good additions are obviously the Feast and the Republic to redraw your cards more consistently. Also the Ceremonial Dance is always a good card to have in any DARAMEK deck. It's a bit slow, but when it will start rolling out, it's very good. Then the Fertility Offering, if you want to, for example, copy all your Herd of Boars consistently, is also a good addition that could be tried. And obviously the Boar Unguent, which is a rare, which is very rare, as the name suggests, but it will also work well with the Herd of Boars. But the Boar Unguent in particular, since it restocks another card, the restocked card will be at the same upgrade level of the Boar Unguent. Think of it like this: if you have an unupgraded card, like for example the Herd of Boars, for example, the least upgraded card it costs 6 gold. So compared to the most upgraded cards, it costs 2 more gold. With the Boar Unguent, if you have it at the first upgrade, which is at 4 cost, Then you will pay 4 cost, 4 gold for the boar unguent, and then it will also restock the Heart of Boars, which also costs 2 more than the max upgraded card. And so this combo, buying the boar unguent and then the Heart of Boars that it will give you, costs 4 more gold than if the boar unguent was upgraded to the max. So definitely cards which restocks other cards are much weaker if not upgraded compared to other cards which do not restock other cards if they are not upgraded to the max. But with that said, let's just jump into a match to see how this deck works. And you may say that since I have all the cards upgraded to the max, this deck only works if you have the cards upgraded. But I will demonstrate that I will play at the Grandmaster difficulty, which is the highest difficulty. And so if this deck works at the highest difficulty, it will also be fine at lower difficulties if you have lesser upgraded cards. So that may prove the point to you. So we are up against Azalas here, and as said, our main goal is to just get the Heart of Boars and to sack it with the Rituals Loader, but we unfortunately don't have the Heart of Boars in our starting bank, and so instead we want to obviously start pressuring our opponent, and the only card which really helps us grow our economy right now is the Scavenger, so let's just go for it. So, for the same principle, we want to still grow our economy or whatever, and so we may go for our gold punners, but first of all, I want to grab the Rituals Loader, because it's just good to have it, even if we will get the Heart of Boars later. And I did that because right now I want to play the Ratcatcher, which will redraw me the Scavenger, and so I just gained free resources by doing that. Also, next turn I can redo that again by playing the Scrivener and sacrificing another time the Scavenger or whatever. And you've seen that my opponent killed the Scavenger, but he did not kill the Ratcatcher, and so the Ratcatcher activated the on-turn effect, which did redraw me the Scavenger another time. So I can go for the Scavenger, and then go also for the Orphan Gang, to just pressure my opponent even more. And then as said, I can go for a Scrivener to redraw the Rituals Loader, and actually kill my Orphan Gang. And then next turn I will redraw him if he does not kill the Ratcatcher, or anyway I will redraw him anyway since the Ezra power, hero power will activate. So that's a bit unfortunate that we didn't get the Heart of Boars yet, which is our main combo, but this may prove the point that this deck can also work if you don't get the combo. So we will sacrifice the Orphan Gang, then we will redraw the Rituals Loader thanks to the Scrivener, and sack again the Scavengers, and next turn we will withdraw one ally from our Ezra hero power, one ally from the Ratcatcher, so there are only two other allies we have in our deck, and also we withdraw a Rituals Loader with the Scrivener. But anyway, let's continue to pressure our opponent by playing even another Orphan Gang, and at this point we want to a bit slow down on increasing our deck size, because we have pretty much a pretty good already count of allies, and instead right now I want to go for the Stampede, which luckily enough did restock, so that we can actually push for the win. Obviously first if you want to play the Stampede, use the Stampede first, and then sack a card if you want to, because obviously you were missing one attack if you inverted the order. So right now the cards that I want to grab are the Stampedes and the Heart of Boars, to use the Rituals Loader at its full extent. Other than that, I will not grab any other cards, since I really don't need them right now. So a bit of a slow game, but we definitely are in a winning situation. It's just a matter of time. So we did finally draw the Heart of Boars, so you can see right now the combo in action. You obviously always want to sack the Heart of Boars if possible, and you see that we did gain a very huge amount of resources out of that. So let's just kill the Edge Guardian and all his Conjurer targets, since I don't want my opponent to have board present, so that we can instead have it. And then pass. Probably the Orphan Gang is also a fine card to to buy, because obviously we want to finish the game right now, and the Doppelganger obviously helps in doing so. So right now he did went for a Bearded Warrior, and he did activate it with the Benediction, so he did clear our board a bit. But we can do the same with him, so let's just do that. Also, we did redraw the Airdrop Boars and the Riddles Loader, so obviously we want to sacrifice our Airdrop Boars to gain even more resources. And obviously kill his allies, so that he can't kill our board and can't heal with the Twilight Peacock. And anyway, I'm not commenting too much on what my opponent is doing. But that's not a big deal, because we are playing against a computer anyway, and so we don't need to plan too much over what he does. So now I don't want any of the cards in my bank, so there is no point in grabbing any of them. If you don't feel like a card is good for your deck, there is no... probably a new player will think that doing nothing in a turn is a bad thing. But it's worse to do something that will weak down, if that is a thing. If it will make your deck weaker, it's worse than not doing anything. Obviously, doing nothing in a turn is a bit bad, but it's worse to even more worse to just worsen your deck by grabbing a card which you don't need. But I will go for the Orphan Gang because, as I said, attacks is what we need right now to finish the game. So we did redraw the Airdrop Boars and the Riddles Loader, so that we can obviously do the sacrifice. And right now, another time, I want to go for the Orphan Gang to finish the game faster. And also we did restock finally the Stampede. Also, I don't know where the other Stampede which is in my deck went, but that's fine. Also, right now I misplayed, because as I said before, you first want to play the Stampede, and I want to play it, and then sacrifice the Airdrop Boars if you want. So definitely a misplay on my part. And since I think that we are going for the lethal right now, I want to play another ally just to have more allies, so that my Stampede will deal 1 more damage. And then we are at 6 plus 16, because they both can be used to attack. So we are at 22 attack points. And also we can convert the food into attacks with the Orphan Gang. So that's a total of 27 resources that we can use to attack. And our opponent is at 26, so that's definitely lethal. And let's just attack with the Orphan Gang. And then finish it off with the Scots. So that's GG. So, as you've seen, this deck can definitely be a very good deck for beating the Grandmaster, or single player in general, and also can be pretty nice in multiplayer too. So, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it and find it useful. Be sure to leave down below a comment to let me know what you want to see in the next videos, and as always, see ya!